All right. Welcome back, boys, to another um, video on the daily close. I almost missed a step there, but I'm happy to be back. It's a full house, everyone here. Myself, Crypto-pleb, joined by Gojo, Base Buddha, and the one and only knxqtr. How we doing, lads?
Lovely, bruv, lovely.
Let's happy to be here. Once in space, once in Tokyo, and once in San
Ye-
Francisco, just like me. So this should be a good video. Just for everyone out there who has been, watching our videos, thank you again. We really appreciate it. For those of you who are new to our channel, we have some good reason for you to follow us. We have been, pumping out some videos since around June time, and we talk about new projects that we think are most interesting, that can, earn the most, have most utility, and have a lot to show. And some of the big projects out there, like ones we posted on June 14th with Convex, 365% up since the time we introduced it. Axie Infinity, 782% since July 12th. And then I'll add another one, let's say Sandbox, 440% up since when we talked about it back in August. So best believe if you're watching our video here, that the projects we talk about, they go up. We're not evaluated by our winners, we're evaluated by our losers because there are so few. So, um, I love that line. But anyways, this one again, we're just gonna keep going at it, talking about some projects we love. Just remember, this is not financial advice, so please do your own research. If you please comment, like, and subscribe, it really helps out with the algorithm. Shows us engagement, and we can always get right back to you as well. Hit that bell notification so you can be the first one to see what comes up. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it, and I'll start with my project. With Here we go. So I'm talking about with OVR. So I mean, this is not entirely new. I mean, this has been around for a bit, but for those of you who don't know about OVR, essentially this project blends the blockchain, the real world together, and augmented reality. And I think I saw a few other metrics before. I was talking about how large the augmented reality um, space, the area is getting, and it's just growing year over year. I think some said like 48% CAGR. Overall growth every year is massive. And so with this area that OVR works in, with augmented reality, I mean, I think with some of these big metrics coming out recently, and I'll show some other reasons why this project's doing good, we're seeing some very healthy growth here. I'm seeing green, and green is good. So let's just jump over to OVR itself. But I mean, if you go over to his website, it's pretty clear. I mean, so maybe I can just start from the top. So OVR is basically with hexagons, it makes an overlay over the entire world, where you can basically, with its overland, which is actual real estate that you can buy, sell, you can rent it, and you can also nowadays you can build things on it and advertise things in your own space as well too. So there's a lot of opportunities to earn. But yeah, these hexagons, it's about 1.6 trillion hexagons here in the entire world. Yeah, entire digital layer covering the entire globe, 1.6 million trillion unique hexagons, which are called overlands. And through your phone, you can actually download it on your phone. It's incredibly easy. You can actually immediately start to participate. And it's literally, I think, actually one of the best ways I could show is actually once you jump into it on your phone and you walk around the world, you're literally going to see things pop up like actual augmented reality. This is actual like advertising. So billboards, for example, will show up and people can use your space for advertising, or you can just kind of gamify it here. We can walk around city. I guess they're doing this here in Shanghai for a little bit of hunting. You can pick up these little things, and there is some additional benefits to this. I think what I like to call that here is actually relates to Overland's mapping tool, where they created a whole thing, which just, I mean, you can read this here, you can see it on the channel, I mean, on their medium here, but you can literally map to earn with this um, with this application. And I think just like with like Google, and you can actually walk around, take pictures, and report to Google, and you can earn some income from that. I think that's what Over is also working towards as well, and gamifying the space with different kind of hunts and such like that are some good ways to keep the engagement high. And I think this platform has been doing, a very good job of that so far. I would like to go over to, yeah, here as well. So I mean, this is the entire world here. So yeah, I mean, we can obviously take a look here at Japan, and it'll kind of look like this. Let's say, yeah, here in Tokyo, choose a location, and that is really, really close. I'm not going to show where I live, but you can show where, different locations where you might want to buy. Roppongi is a very popular spot. And it'll come up here, you'll see hexagons that will appear like this. And you can buy or sell. So these ones are already sold here, and it comes up with the price and OVR token. So just so you know, OVR token is the ERC20. This is all built on Ethereum. So this is the token that they typically use for buying or for the auctions, and Overland, which is the ERC 721. That's for the NFT. That's where you can, buy or sell and rent the land that's on here. Actually, I think over here, we might actually be having some auctions going on too. Yeah, closed in 13 hours, and this is at Roppongi Ground Tower. So it's ongoing as well. And depending on the world, you can basically buy anywhere in the world they want to participate in and buy up that real estate that you think people will cross by. And that is good for you because you might be able to resell that for even more money than before. But yeah, I mean, other than that, other things that OVR also includes is virtual art gallery. You can, like I said, you can build things in the space on top of your land. This is all getting NFT focused. They also make lots of references towards Axie Infinity and how they gamify the space, and they're looking to do the same thing on here too. I'm thinking things like Pokemon Go kind of stuff, walking around the world using the AR, play as you go or map as you go to earn some cash, have some fun, and it just continues to increase the adoption of the platform. So, I mean, just to follow it up here, you can also take a look. I mean, the price is speaking for itself. This is on my 2-day chart, but here on the daily, I mean, it's only like a few days ago that started popping off again. 300% already. And what was this back then? Let me just move this here. Yeah, about before November 1st, well, when it started to pop off again. And I think that has something to do with a buyback program they have going on recently as well too, where they burned off 1 million OVR tokens to celebrate the first 6 months of their launch, which was in November 1st. With meanings is more scarce, and I don't know if this might be another kind of foreshadowing for the possible future, where they might look to do some more burns. But I think the price of this coin is going to continually go up. We're seeing some good gains. There's a lot of room to grow within the AR space. Lots of things, lots of new innovations. And the more people who join in, the more money we make. I think it's a good option, not just to invest in, although it's not financial advice, but also something good to participate in because of how decentralized the space is, how much fun it is, and how this will continue to revolutionize the augmented reality space. But I think that was a quick little run through there. This is a good pick of mine, but I'll move it on to the next slide here for knxqtr.
Thank you, Crypto-pleb. Thank you. Mic test, 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear me okay?
I can definitely hear you, but you seem a little bit in the shadows, my friend. My shadow friend.
That's how I like to live these days, in the darkness. Anyway, so yeah, the project that I'm going to cover today is called Gods Unchained, which is a card game that's been out on the blockchain for quite a while now. So it's not actually a brand new project. However, they have recently released their token, which the ticker is Gods. You can see that if we look at the price history, it goes back to around 29th of October, which is like about a week ago. So it's only just released its token. It's currently trading at around $5.16, and it has a market cap of around 175 million dollars, which is it's not too bad. It's fairly sizable, but for something a project that's just launched, it's not too bad at all. I do think that this has a lot of potential to go up. Not just 2-3x, but more of a 10 to 20x, I imagine. And if you look at things like Axie, which is we've covered it before, you guys have heard of it. It's a similar play to earn kind of game. That's sitting at currently, I think it's over a $10 billion market cap, and this is a hundredth of its market cap. So it's like 1% of its market cap. So I think it has a lot of potential to go up. And I do like covering things that haven't gone up too much before. And as you can see here, it came out at 436 cents, or it's below that, 409 cents. It went up to about $4.09, and it went up to about $7. It's currently trading at around $5. So yeah, it's something that hasn't pumped. So if you're looking to get that 100x, 200x, this definitely has that potential. So moving on to their website, this is what it looks like. It's pretty cool. I've actually played a little bit myself. I quite enjoyed it, actually. Card games isn't really my thing, but I thought, being on the blockchain, being able to own your own cards instead of, just buying cards and then the actual game owns the cards and you can't really do anything with them. You can actually sell them and trade them on the blockchain, which is really cool. Now, these guys are based on IMX, Immutable X, which is a layer 2 blockchain for Ethereum. So transactions on this are basically free. You don't pay any money to play the game. You don't pay any money to make transactions on this game. Whereas, if you were to do something on ETH, for example, you'd be paying probably like $20, $30 at least just to interact with the game itself. So this is pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of Hearthstone. You guys have heard of Hearthstone before? It's a popular, online trading card game. It reminds me of that, except it's all on the blockchain. So you own every single card that you have, and you can eventually sell it if you want to. So cool little statistic here. If you can't sell your items, you don't own them. In 2019, players spent $87 billion on in-game items. The players received absolutely zero. So this is another example of what crypto and the blockchain is really doing. It's enabling players to actually earn money for their time that they spend on the game. And this is one of the leaders, or one of the actual projects that has a minimal viable product, MVP, and I think is actually been fully released. So there's a lot of projects out there that have not been released yet that are worth way more than this. And I have to say that something that already has a working product, already has a user base, already has players, that's much more than empty promises from games that haven't actually released anything yet. So this is actual the home website. So what the Gods token. So what can you actually do with this? So the main features of this are active staking. You'll be able to stake for rewards. You can craft NFTs. You can spend the Gods token to fuse in-game cards into NFTs, being minted directly onto Immutable X, which is pretty cool too. And of course, as with most other coins and tokens, it allows users to have governance within the project. So, decentralized voting, so to speak. And then there is still a way. So although it's that most of the tokens have been actually distributed, you can still earn tokens by playing the game. You can get retrospective rewards, and you can also join in one of their events called Blessings of the God. As you can see, I've completed most of these. I'm just waiting to claim my tokens. Claim my tokens now. A few things that you actually have to do to qualify. I'll leave a link in the description below, so you can actually see. I'm not going to go through everything that you need to do, but there are some requirements that you need to go through to be able to earn these tokens. But I think it's well worth it. I think it's a project, it's a game project that has a lot of potential. So how do I go to the next tab? Okay. So as I mentioned, it's on Immutable X. You can actually buy these cards right now with ETH. And as you can see, they are very, very affordable. And to buy them, it doesn't, so you're not paying like $20, $30 to actually make a transaction on the blockchain and buy this card. It's basically free. You just pay, the cost of the card itself because it's on Immutable X, which is very, very nice. And then actually, if you start playing, you get a free deck too. So you don't actually have to spend money to start playing. You actually get free access and a free deck that you can actually start playing with. So pretty cool. Yeah, check it out. Gods Unchained. I think it has a lot of potential. Again, anything on the Immutable X right now is pretty much blowing up. It's very, very popular and one of the first actually L2 chains for Ethereum for NFTs. So yeah, very bullish on this. Go check Gods Unchained out.
What's up? That's what's up. Nice, nice. Thanks over to you, Base Buddha.
All right. All right. Let me just show my screen real quick. So the project or the token, whatever that I want to cover today is actually Chromia. I'm not sure if you guys heard about them, but they are killing it this bull run. So I'm just going to show the CoinGecko page and recent price action first. Right now we're trading about 87 cents, just slightly above what been trading earlier today. And the market cap is at 494, but basically 500 million, with the circulating supply about 567 million. So it's actually almost reaching its total supply. But one thing to note is that, from its inception, it's already done a 99x, jeez, basically 100x. And the market cap is actually ranked only 195. So despite having already done 100x, it's actually relatively much lower in terms of market cap and value compared to, this is an L1, a layer one. So compared to Ethereum, Solana, Terra Luna, Avalanche, ADA, all these other L1s, basically Chromia is significantly smaller in terms of market cap and value. So there's something to look out for. I'll go into that a bit later as well. But basically, so I want to talk about Chromia as in terms of its team as well as its background and why I'm so bullish on it. So Chromia was built from the ground up by Chrome Airway, which is founded by these three gentlemen who are actually quite esteemed and notable guys within the crypto industry. They've been in it since like 2012, quite early on. And for example, this person, Alex Mizrahi, he goes by the Twitter name of Killer Storm. But they basically founded Colored Coins, which one of the first tokens on the blockchain. And Chromia itself is a full-fledged blockchain that's uniquely positioned for games and the metaverse. So, there's a lot of right now. There's a lot of hype around certain sort of narratives right now, right? We have metaverses, we have layer ones that are probably pumping the most right now within this bull run, but as well as NFT and gaming. Now, this is something that combines all of them together, and that's one of the reasons why I'm quite bullish. The first game on Chromia, it's got a working model and a working product, basically. So back in March 2021, we had their first game, which is My Neighbor Alice. And we should have covered this way back when, but I remember when it first came out, it did a massive run when it was first released, but then I think gaming was not so popular at the time, and people, this is before the Axie pump, but gradually they've been actually adopting a lot more users, and it's one of the main games right now within the space. And in terms of the other game within Chromia, So you have, I mentioned My Neighbor Alice, and the other game that's actually doing quite well is called Mines of Delarnia. Delarnia, yeah. So this is basically an NFT-based play-to-earn game that was also kind of launched within the Binance launch pool. But Mines of Delarnia, I've actually done partnerships with something called, what was it? It was called Over. It was something. Yeah, it was this basically another gaming platform that currently mainstream. Right? Forgot the name actually, but basically, it's got a number of other games on its platform. And the one unique thing about Chromia is that it's not just a layer 1. It's actually a layer 2 as well. And here's, yeah, so Chromia is a layer 2 to Ethereum, which basically allows for cheaper and faster transactions. And in addition to that, there's certain features that sets Chromia apart from other layer 1s. It has this dual sort of function, right? So the layer 1 obviously is the platform, but the layer 2 function of Chromia is so that it can actually be an easy to use bridge for tokens and NFTs. And this allows for developers to actually also quickly transfer any solutions, development solutions to Chromia, compared to people who are just kind of using more slower L1s at the moment. And one other feature with Chromia that sets it apart is that they have this thing called sort of an original new token standard. And the originals are these tokens on the Chromia network that have these special properties that are basically specifically for NFTs. And they're designed so that like any character wearing an NFT, whatever they wear, whatever they possess, like a sword or gear or a skin in other NFT projects, they can start with initial conditions that change in the game as they occur. And this can also create more nuanced in-game economies and enhance the rarity of objects that are used up over time. And then the one other feature about Chromia is that it's gaming interoperable. So, for example, the games that I just mentioned earlier, Mines of Delarnia, as well as My Neighbor Alice, there's another game I didn't go too much into deeply, but it's called Crypto-pleb. But the items and the NFTs are actually interoperable between these games. So you're not just limited to, again, just one of the games. And yeah. Now, I mentioned before that Chromia's price action and their market cap is actually significantly lower than the other L1s. And just to give you a quick snapshot of how Chromia has been performing this past year. So, it's had a previous all-time high around 57 cents back in March. And then we had a dump back in May, kind of a short bear market, if you will. And right now it's reached a new all-time high, about 92 cents. And again, the market cap is 495 million. But if you compare this to Solana's market cap is 71 billion, and so Chromia is only just a small fraction, maybe 1 out of 180, for example, one out of 160. Polkadot as well is a 56 billion market cap. Terra Luna is 20 billion, and Avalanche is 16 billion. So comparatively, Chromia, that one aspect about Chromia that sets it apart is that it's not just a layer 1 platform allowing for dApps to be built on top of it, but it's both for metaverse and NFT gaming. And this is the only one that actually exists right now within layer 1 sort of family, I guess you would say, or the category. So it's just, for me, I'm super bullish on this. I've actually been trading on Chromia for a while. For me, I think it's a long-term hold. But at the same time, I've been doing sort of short-term trades. So just full disclosure, I'm invested in this protocol. And one other thing is, so Chromia's mainnet has not been launched yet, but the mainnet is actually this month in November. And so I would expect to see Chromia actually do a massive pump up until that mainnet launch. And most likely, I don't think it's going to be a sell the news, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, just because in terms of the narrative itself and as well as a platform, this is the trend at the moment, and we're in sort of the hype of the bull run, and pretty much everything right now in the market is actually going up only. So I think it'll perform quite well, and it won't just be a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. So one last thing is Chromia in terms of its actual token. So CHR is the ticker, and it's the CHR itself is the in-game token. It's used for in-game currency and payments, as well as it's used for its staking within the ecosystem, but also is used for developers in terms of how they pay for fees on the dApps and users who use those dApps. So it's what I want to say about this is that the tokenomics is well designed so that the actual price action of Chroma will increase as the adoption and the network effect basically increases. So yeah, that's it for me in Chromia. But I think it's really important to look at, in this case, the brains behind this project, because it is a Swedish team, and My Neighbor Ally is also Swedish founded game. I think there's a lot of collaboration and within the actual teams itself. They've been getting support from the government as well as pretty big VCs, Arrington, XRP Capital. One of the games, one of the actual DeFi apps building on top of Chromia called Hedge It, recently being launched, is also supported by and backed by Alameda Research. So yeah, a lot of big names behind this. I'm super bullish, and I think the price action for Chromia will go up to the other contemporary L1s as well. So I think it's good to watch out for that. Okay, I guess pass it on to Gojo.
Hey man, if the game that you were referring to was Overwatch as the AAA title, that would be pretty insane. I don't know if that's the game that you were talking about, but Chromia, man, sounds pretty legit.
Let me double check.
Yeah. And well, I guess while you get to that, I'll talk a little bit about my project. If you want to get into these NFT games, if you want to get into the AR world, but you're lacking in funds, I'm going to take you to and talk to you about potential solution to that, which is Olympus DAO. So some of us might be a little bit more active in the way we, make our gains, whether you're trading on the charts. But I think Olympus DAO, just to talk about this, before I talk about it, I'm going to let the numbers speak for itself first. The first number you should be looking at the very right is 8,424 APY. When I saw this for the very first time, I was thinking this has got to be some kind of pyramid scheme, some kind of scam. That paired with the insane following on Twitter, they call themselves OHMIs, OHM being the token, OHM being the ticker. It's got quite a lot of attention recently for how it's running this very crazy economic experiment. Just to give you guys an idea on what Olympus DAO is. So typically, if you're talking about I don't know whether it's a yield farming protocol, you kind of judge the numbers, you look at the numbers and then you think, well, 8,400 probably means it's a small project. And the reason why most people would think that is because with smaller protocols, they can afford to give out rates like this, APYs like this, because there are fewer users, right? With 1,000 people on a protocol, for example, paying out 8,400 APY is not impossible. So when I first saw this number, I went into CoinGecko and then I looked and then I find out this is top 60 of all coins out there. So at number 59, OHM currently has a market cap of about $3.5 billion USD. That plus the 8,400% APY really got me scratching my head, because then I wanted to know, how the hell is this supposed to work? Like, if we do some simple math here, you take $1,000 today, you put it in, a year later, you have $84,000. Okay, you have $84,000. I was hoping that I could get you guys to do some math, but I guess I'll have to do this myself.
I don't know, you're waiting
2
for us.
years from
I was like, oh man, he's gonna get this.
Failed the test. Sorry about that.
no, it's okay. I'm trying to get you get you guys on your toes. So 84,000 at 1,000 today, a year later, you're at 84,000 USD. 2 years later, you'd have 7 million USD. 3 years later, you have about 600 million USD, right? That's assuming that we're running with the current valuation of Ohm. So how does this work? Because if it's not a scam, there's 3.5 billion in market cap here. How does this, something that people, they're calling it a stable coin, right? People are calling Ohm a stable coin. How is that potentially generating these kind of yields? I really had to spend more than any project that I've had to look into time to fully understand how this works. But I think once I've read through and once I've kind of understood how it works, it is absolutely amazing. Simply put, Ohm is similar to a stable coin in that it's backed by one DAI, right? And as we know, DAI is a stable coin pegged to the USD. So one DAI is always equal to one USD. But unlike the traditional stable coin, Ohm itself isn't pegged to a dollar. And it's a little bit more free-flowing, meaning because it's pegged to DAI, it can't go below a dollar because every Ohm is backed by DAI. But it can go significantly higher than a dollar, because if we just look at the price here, 1 Ohm is 906 USD. So how does this work for a coin that's supposed to be kind of like a stable coin? Basically, Ohm has the intrinsic value of a stable coin, but it also has a market decided value like something like a Bitcoin. But what's really cool about this is the treasury. And the treasury is really the key that unlocks how this whole thing works. And I think this diagram, while it is simple, does not highlight the whole story. Actually, if you really wanted to learn more, if you just go into Olympus DAO's site, you go down to the very bottom and you read through their documentation in Medium, you can spend a couple of hours to fully understand this. But my understanding of how this works is the treasury, this Olympus treasury, sells bonds that allow people to buy Ohm at a lower than market value price. So let's say, as an example, the market value of 1 Ohm is $20. What the treasury allows you to do is it allows you to buy 1 Ohm, for example, for $10. And you might then ask, well, if that's a really good deal for me, market is, what is the incentive for this treasury? We need to remember before I move on that 1 DAI equals 1 Ohm. So meaning technically you're paying 10 DAI for 1 Ohm. And through this whole arbitrage system, the treasury is essentially able to turn a profit of 9 DAI by selling 1 Ohm. And the next question you might have then is, then what do they do with all this money? The process of arbitrage, where they're selling below market price, allows the treasury to build up funds that are in excess of the amount that they have to pay out per Ohm over time. And those excess in funds, they generate, essentially use it for two things. The first thing is they use that money to pay out the staking rewards. And secondly, which is the most interesting thing to me, is that they use it to buy their own liquidity. Why is this so big? Is because for any other yield farming protocol, yield farmers providing liquidity, or they provide liquidity and then they get rewarded for doing that. So in order to keep these yield farmers around, the protocols need to pay out incentives. But for Olympus DAO, what makes them so unique is that since most of their liquidity they buy they don't have to do that. And since they don't have to pay out these incentives to yield farmers, and instead, what happens then is that people collecting yield for providing liquidity, the treasury itself is able to collect its own yield, and then it increases its own profits and income of the treasury. I know that this is a kind of, by me just talking, I wish I had diagrams to kind of point you through how this all works. But simply put, this whole social economic, or I guess social economic, but also just an economic experiment is in line with what we're observing from a broader kind of perspective with DeFi 2.0, which I think is one of the keywords that we're seeing recently. You see Curve making moves when it comes to this and other protocols as well. Olympus DAO has recently launched a version 2 where, and also they have their own pro version, which actually offers a little bit more incentive and also offers a little bit more, some attractive features for people looking to really make the most out of this kind of crazy APY. But I typically also think about the team when I talk about protocols like this. The one thing that you should know is that the founder or the creator of Olympus DAO is a very ambiguous character, and his name is Zeus. He's only known as Zeus. You can tell by his name and his handle on Twitter that he's very passionate about DeFi yield farming here. But what we've found here over time is that the most critical and the most analytical within the DeFi space have attempted to use Ohm, coming in with a lot of, whether it's speculation, whether it's a little bit of uncertainty, whether it's even a little bit of lack of trust, and have come out supporting this new protocol. What I will say is, through its success, it's definitely kind of launched this kind of movement. We have protocols like Time, right, which is kind of like a spin-off of this. And what it says to us is it works. It works, at least for now. And if you want to try it, it actually is a very, very simple process. You can get signed up and started up. From here, you can download an app and you can immediately start staking. Again, the APY has not moved from the 8,000. Actually, it's gone up in the last couple of weeks since I've looked at it. So yeah, again, if you're looking to get into the NFT space and you're looking to get into these games, but you're lacking the funds, why not put away $1,000, come back a year from now and see these gains? Myself, I would say it's quite low risk right now. In terms of price action, it's not doing too well, but it means, at least for me, it's quite a low barrier to entry if you are looking to make some easy gains. But that's all our end for now. I just want to wrap up the video by saying thank you so much, as per always, for watching us every week. If you want to learn more and if you want to tell us what to cover next, please drop a comment down below. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you like. Otherwise, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We really, really appreciate your support. Thank you so much again for joining us today. We hope you have a lovely week ahead. May the pump be with you.
May the pump be with you too.
May the pump be with you.